Hi everyone and welcome to For Your Junk Journal. I'm Deanna and I'm super excited for this one because this one comes highly recommended by you guys. Thank you so much for all of your messages and requests and your ideas. They have been absolutely amazing. I love you guys for that. This has been such a great community to be a part of. So I have a tutorial video for you guys for this Victorian rose house. This comes after request because this vintage Christmas house, I got a ton of requests for more houses, so I do plan on doing more in the future, but this is the next one out in that, I don't know, you can call it the series kit, whatever the case may be. So a few things I want to go over before we actually start the tutorial video. So first, on the files, I've separated them out by cardstock double print, then regular paper, and paper double print. So you don't have to print everything on, if you don't have the ability to print double-sided, you don't have to, but just know that you will have white on one side, and I will show you a page where it's kind of important to have double print and what is the option to get around that here in just a minute. But also on them, at least on the house, I have put, like here, this says C1, and let me explain that to you. So this is the house. When you open it up, this side of the house are all the twos. So it'd be A2, B2, C2, D2. When you flip it over, it's going to be backwards. So this is still A, but it's just on the other side. B, C, D, and then these are all one. So A1, B1, C1, D1. So when you see that, that's how it's going to be laid out. And I'll make sure to put a picture of that in the paperwork so you guys can refer back to that easy if you want to. Now, I've also included, this is a pretty big kit. It's like 36 pages, so just so you guys are aware. But on the ones that are harder to see, like this where you would score, I've put lines for you guys. And then, of course, this is D1 and D2. Now, remember I said that it would be, you don't have to print everything on double-sided. Let me show you. So for instance, I recommend double-sided printing on, right here. Now just know if you don't print double-sided, this will actually be white. Now for this page right here, I just did a single page. It's on a double page that's glued together like everything else is. So if you don't have the ability to print double-sided, you can print this page twice. You would cut off the gusset, so that's this right here. Cut that off. And then you can just glue it on to this side right here. And you may see a little tiny bit of white, but nothing a little distressing can't fix. Now the second thing I wanted, or the third thing, I don't even know what thing I'm on actually. Let's just move on. So for this one, this is the accordion folder cover right here. So when I was building this, I originally started with the pink one. And I personally felt like it was a little too pink for my liking. I know at one point in my life, I would have wanted everything pink, so I left that in there and also put a green one. So I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of what that looks like. So those are both in there for you guys. You only have to pick one to print out. You will only need one. So let's see, anything else? No. Okay, so I think that's it. Now I'm going to go ahead and get everything cut out. I'm going to show you what I use paper-wise. So a couple things here. So for my regular paper, I use the Koala double-sided matte photo paper. It's 32 pounds, 110 page. I get this off of Amazon. I'll put my associate link down below for you guys if you're interested. Now for my paper itself, I do print on two different things. This one was printed on the Koala double-sided matte photo paper. It's 48 pounds, 180 GSM. This one I printed on, I think it says GeoFun double-sided matte photo paper. It's 200 GSM. I like them both. I typically gravitate towards the Koala brand, but when I had ordered this on Amazon, when it said they had one in stock, so I ordered it and it just sat there for days, and I really needed the paper. So I have used this one in the past. I like them both. This one is a little tiny bit heavier, but to me it feels pretty comparable in weight when you fill it. So very close. They both work. or whatever you have at home. I just really like the way it makes your colors pop. when you print on that. So that's why I use that. And then other things that you may need would be a bone folder, scissors. Now for my accordion pages here, let me show you. For the little holes, I personally use an 1.5-inch hole punch. Now as long as you print everything at 100%, you should be able to get away with also using the 1.5-inch hole punch, but if you change your size, it may not work. So just be aware. For the ink I use Dark Roast Archival ink. This is from Ranger. I have a very hard time finding this. In fact, I've only been able to find it at Hobby Lobby, so I've stocked up in case, I don't know if they're discontinuing it or what the case may be, I don't know, but all-time favorite is that one right there. I use 2 different types of glue. I use this Fabri-Tac. I know a lot of people don't like it. It does have a very, very strong smell, so just be aware if you go to get that. And then I also use the art glitter glue. Then you may also want some ribbon for some kind of closure to wrap around the house. This is not the house. To wrap around the house to keep it closed. I haven't decided on what color yet. And then if you want, there's also like ribbon you may want. And then let me show you because I got this one completed. I do have in this kit, this is from the other kit, but I just want to show you guys an example. So I do have these little tabs here that you can print out and glue and then just attach some kind of string to it. But if you want, you can also do like an eyelet like that, but completely up to you however you want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get everything cut out for you guys, get what I can inked, and then I will be right back. Okay, so we are going to start with, this is A1, so that will be this page right here will be where we're starting. Now this is my prototype. You may notice things are just a tiny bit different in color, but all the same concept. So I think I forgot to mention that we need a scoreboard. So if you don't have a scoreboard at home, you can also take something like a ruler and some kind of object and score it that way as well. You don't have to have a scoreboard. So we are going to start scoring. So it'll be 3 pieces total. This will be the tag that will go inside of this pocket right there. So let me set this aside. Now the first score we're going to do is to create the spine. So 2 scores there. Should be able to fold and fold. Now is a good time to ink if you need to ink as well. I'm actually going to flip this because I won't be able to see. So there is a small line here for you guys to follow. So there's that. I'm going to add some ink, which I will fast forward this for you guys, because I know you guys probably don't want to sit here and watch me do this. Okay, so I have everything inked and ready to be glued. Now I forgot to mention, as you're cutting everything out, if you leave it in piles for like A1 or A2 and so on, you can just grab that pile and we can move forward. It makes it a whole lot easier. That's what I did. I will try to take a picture here when I'm done putting this together so you can kind of see what I did. But we are going to take this pocket, and the only sides that are going to get glue are going to be this side and this side. These 2 sides, no glue. So I'm using a fine tip with my art glitter glue for this. It makes it, the smaller the line, the bit more room you have. So just take it along the long side and the bottom side. And then you can go up or down with this. You want to make sure you've got enough room for this as well. But you don't have to put it in the same spot as me. I like to keep it a little lower because I like to decorate right here. And you want to keep it on the far left. So I know some people like to put spots for where exactly to glue it, but I like freedom. Like, I know some of you guys aren't going to want it in the same spot I'm going to want it. So that is why I try to leave it like that for you guys. Now, I'm not going to put this in there just because I don't want it to pull the glue up. But just so you guys get an idea, that's how that will go. And that leaves a little spot here for decorating. Now, I'm going to stop this video, take a quick picture of my pile so you guys can see. So this is how I have mine laid out. So it's A1, A2, B1, B2, and then all the way down to D1 and 2. And then I put my little pieces just inside of a little container so I can refer back to those later. Okay, so I hope that made sense for you guys. I just know for me, a little organization goes such a long way. So that's why I wanted to show you guys. Now let's go ahead and move on to A2. So this will be where the accordion page is. So let me show you what we'll be working on. That is this page right here. This is just a little fussy cut I added. And it'll be like that. So we will actually start with this back right here and then move on to the accordion part. So this is right here. Now this is one of the ones that could be kind of hard to see the lines. So if it is, just grab that paper, make sure to score it before you cut it. So it's going to be 2 scores. Alright, so I will get these little edges inked here in a minute, but I'm going to do it all at the same time. Now I'm going to move on to the accordion. This is the top part right here. We're going to get that scored. Once again, 2 scores on this page. Then we are going to do the cover. Like I said, this could have 2 different colors, so depending on which one you chose, that's completely up to you. But this is this right here. So this will also have 2 scores. Also kind of hard to see this one, so if you need to score it while it's on the paper. You will also have a backing. So this piece will actually attach to this, and then this will attach to this. So that is what that is for. You should also have, let me show you, scrape them off my counter here. So these are lifts for the tuck. So no scoring on those. I'm going to set those aside. And then these are the tabs. There is no line on these. You can score them if you want to. I'm not going to, but if you were to score them, I don't know. Let me zoom in so I can show you. Just line it up in the center. I find it's actually easier to just fold it in half, so that's what I'm going to do. That way, if anything doesn't line up perfect, you can also trim it, because you know when you cut it, it's never perfect. Alright, so there should be 3 of those. And the last 3 are the actual folders themselves. So 1, 2, and 3. You'll see they all have these lines right here. Those do not need to be cut out. That's the glue lines, just to help you guys where the glue should go. I'm not gonna, and I didn't put score marks on these because this is to make sure everything lines up appropriately. It's really best to go ahead and fold these in half. So I take this and just line it up. I'm trying not to get my head in the camera. So like that. So now that I have everything folded, I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to get everything inked and I will be right back. Okay, so I have everything inked, ready to go here. We're going to start with the actual file folders. If you're curious on what I used on my double-sided prints, I just used the same design. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to glue these right behind here so it will look like this. Just like that. You can actually glue them wherever you want. That's personal preference, but you'll see here. That's the way I did it here. And so that's what I'm going to do again. So what I like to do is just unfold. Take one of my pieces. I put glue on one side of the back side of the half. So when you fold over, it's going to be this piece. Can you guys see it? Let me make sure you guys can see. Oh, my glue got backed up. That's okay. I don't want it to make too much of a mess. And then I kind of just line it up with, trying to make sure you guys can still see here. So I like to make sure that the lips are down below. Like that. And it still falls within my hole. Now I'm going to add a little bit more glue on the other side here and close it. That's one thing about the art glitter glue. It doesn't like to move like the fabric tack. Okay, so first one done, 2 more to go. I'm going to set this aside. I'm just making sure my tabs aren't sticking up. You don't want your tabs up too high, otherwise it won't close all the way with the cover. So try to make sure those tabs stay below that line. Perfect. So I'll have 4 just like this. Now, where you're going to start with, so this is the first one. The one that has the center cut is the center one, and the last one. So we're going to start with the last one. And this line right here will be the line that you want to just put a thin line of glue down. Sorry if you can hear me getting up and down from my chair. It can get kind of loud. I'm sorry. So just a single line just like that. Oh, nope, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Strike that. We need to do the sides. So we're going to do the sides like this. Sorry about that. If you already glued it, that's fine. So you're going to go like that. Glue it, then we'll do the second one. So center hole, you're going to do glue on either side just like this. Thin line on the far edges, all the way to the top from the bottom, like that. And then this will set right over that one just like that. Get my last one here. Make sure you have it facing the right direction. You want the thumb notches to be on the side that you're going to use. So towards you. One last strip of glue here. And then strip of glue there. This one will be a shorter line because the center piece there. Then I like to just make sure that they are all aligned on the edges, top and bottom as well. Perfect. Okay, so that's how you put together the actual folders. Now we are going to work on the folder part. Now I just want to show you, if you put this too far from the bottom, the tabs will stick too high. So this is just the back side of the accordion. You're going to want the print side towards you that you see. Then whichever side you chose for your cover, I like to, let me get closer. So when I go to glue, it's going to be like this. So here's the spine. So I have the gusset on that outside folded like this, and it's going to go right to the bottom of this piece. So I like to keep the spine folded like that because it makes it easier to press the glue down. So I'm going to take some glue on my gusset. This one's actually a good glue to use your fabric tack. I just didn't grab it. Or a good piece. If you use fabric tack, this would be a good one, because you have more movement with it. So you're going to line it up to your bottom. I'll try to do it so it's easier for you guys to see. Straight to the bottom. So it's going to go like that. And then this will sit along that spine right at the bottom. So it'll go like that. So and that's what it will look like. We're going to get the top put on. We're going to follow the same way we did with the bottom. So it's going to go this way, just like that. Just like that. So I'm going to put some glue. I'm actually going to use my fabric tack for this. If you do only use the art glitter glue, don't push it down hard onto it, and it'll allow it to move around a little bit better. I find the fabric tack, like once it touches, it doesn't have much movement. Once it's got a little pressure on it. So if you barely put it on there, it moves a lot easier than if you push it down. So that's why I end up going with the fabric tack for this part. Okay, so this is what we got so far. Now we're going to take these 3 folders right here, and this is going to want to set right along that spine. So I like to make sure my spine is nice and flat at this point. Tap it down, and so that's where it will be. So there's going to be glue on the front side of this and the back side of this. So I start with the front, follow that white little line I have there for you guys, nice thin little line there. Make sure that my accordion folder stays flat at the bottom, like that. And then I open it up and I do the back side after that. You just want to make sure that everything stays square. Right there. And you can see the tabs just give barely enough room to get this closed. So that's why it's really important to make sure that this lines up at the bottom. Now, I have provided a little tuck here. You don't have to use this. You can use whatever you want. And then 4 different lifts. It's going to be 2 for each side. So what I like to do is take each one and then I glue them. So I'll be gluing 2 together. Just like that. Sorry, I choked a minute ago and it's still stuck in my throat. Now how I like to figure out where this goes. So see how this part right here, you don't want it too far above that. See, this one barely tucks in and it works fantastic. So it's going to go like this. And this one I think's a little bit higher and it still works great. It's just a little harder to fold. But you can get either way, whatever way you want. It can kind of depend too on how you want to decorate it. How much room you have. Not that there's much of a difference, but just the 2 difference in sides this time. I think I'm going to stick lower like I did here. Maybe just coming up a little bit more. Yeah. So fold this over. You also want to make sure that you have enough room once you start adding stuff to this, that this still tucks in. So I'm thinking something like that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to glue them onto the outer sides. So just a tiny bit of glue right on the outer side there, like that. So that is what that will look like. Now I'm just going to dry fit it one more time. Make sure my flowers are the way that I want them. Can you guys see it? Okay. All right. So now this is the back piece and I have it going. So just my little sample here. So it's going to set like this inside. If you were to switch it over, it's going to be really hard to get your stuff out of there. So I highly recommend keeping it this way. So this is the chimney side. Make sure not to glue it onto your spine. And you're going to line it up just towards the bottom there, just like that. So you still have a tiny bit of room on top. And you can bring it up away from the bottom a little bit, just like that. Okay. So I'm going to take my glue, I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac, apply it to the back side here. I tend to use too much glue, just so you know. So I'm going to keep it lined up at the bottom. So about that much on top, just a smidgen on the side. Or I'm sorry, just a little bit on the side here, so it's going to be like this. So let me show you the right way. I can still fold this over, and there's a little bit of, it's kind of hard to see, but there's just maybe 1/8 of an inch hanging out there. Okay, so that completes A2. Okay, so the next one, if we went in order, would be B1. There's nothing with B1, it's just the back of the house. So we will move on to B2, which is the belly bands. So for that, there is a couple cuts. It will be for this one as well as for this one right here. You'll have to cut out the slits. So you'll see here, let me get closer. right here. And there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. You can either do that, or I had already cut it out, so I just wanted to show you guys on a new one. I usually just take my a straight edge of some kind, an X-Acto knife. Be super careful, you don't want to cut yourself. So that's one way to do it. Now if you don't have an X-Acto knife, not a huge deal, but you'll want to fold this over. Then I just take a little pair of scissors. Make a cut. It's just not as clean doing it this way, but you can absolutely do it this way. Just like that. So I just want to show you, you don't have to have a razor blade if you don't want to. Just like that. Okay, so now we will score. And I was going to say, if you don't want the hidden notes in there, you don't have to cut those out. If you don't want it, you can just put some fussy cuts over the black spots, the little black lines, and then cover those up. Then we got 2 notes that will slide in. Okay, so just fold these. I try to make sure to the best of my ability that I keep the lines straight. Okay, let me just get this out of the way here. All right, so this is going to go like this. It's going to go right over that. So it doesn't matter which way you fold over what, they are both the same length. You're going to glue one side. Now, if you don't want this white to show through, which is kind of hard to see, you can add a little ink on the sides here if you want. Let me just show you. Just like that. I'm actually going to finish inking and I'll be right back. Okay, so everything is inked. And I'm going to go ahead and get the larger belly band. Pick a side and just do a thin line right along the edge there. Not too much because you don't want it to seep through. Like that. So you can kind of pick or choose where you want this to land. Go like that right there. Kind of center it up. Add ink to both sides. Just like that. Now make sure your 2 holes are towards the top. Then for the next belly band, same thing, little glue. I keep it towards the bottom, just like that. Okay, so you should have 2 letters. You're going to slide in the first one, slide in the second one, you're going to leave a little bit sticking out. Just like that. And that's where these 2 come in. I'm sorry, 4. It's going to be 2 here in a minute. So you're going to do the same thing like you did on the tuck on the accordion folio. So take the back side, some glue on it, and stack it on top. I don't usually ink these until after I glue them together. And you'll see the back side of these on this, so I make sure that both sides have the color on it. Do a quick ink on both of these. And then these will be free for you to decorate whatever way you want. There's a couple pages of like fussy cuts and snippets for you guys to pick from. So now that you have that, I make sure these are tucked in where I want them. I think it's time for a new ink dauber again. I feel like they don't last as long as they used to. Okay, so just a tiny bit of glue, just like this. And then these will be placed like, try to make sure they're center, or whatever, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to try to make sure they're center. And just so the glue doesn't stick to the belly band, I pull it up a little bit and I'll let it dry like that. Just like that. Now real quick, while I'm on this, I'm just going to show you how to quickly fold an envelope. So it does have lines, but you just follow those lines. Make sure that your folds are within the thing. So make sure that the folds are even there. Fold this side in, this side in. Oh, I didn't fold it on the line at all. Let's try again. There we go. So just like that. I add a tiny bit of glue on both sides. Just like that. And then you got your envelope. There's several of these, I just wanted to show you one, but here's for the envelopes. And then for your papers, do just like that. And then for the top part here, you can decorate it whatever way you want. Here's one that I played with a little bit, and I'll show you guys when I'm all done with that one too, decorating. Alright, so that is it for B2, and let me get C1 set up. Okay, now we are going to work on C1, so that is this one right here with the hidden door and the letter as well. So let's get our pieces scored. We also need to cut out the door here. And just get everything folded. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and cut out the door, but you're not going to completely cut it out because it's going to hinge. So you're going to leave the left side. There's no cutting on the left side. You're going to cut out the top, the right side, and the bottom. The easiest way I found to do this is just get yourself a straight edge of some kind. And an X-Acto knife. And then for this top part, it's not straight, so I'm just going to do it by hand. So now we have the door. We're going to fold this side. I've found it easier to find something straight to lean against the back side. And then like this, and just fold it over it. Now this part is optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can totally skip this part if you want. But for this I have the door. It's going to be glued on this side. Like that. And then you get to pick one image. I gave you a couple to choose from. I think I'm going to choose the one with the rose, the vase of flowers. And that's going to go on the back side. So you're going to want to put a thin line of glue just along the edge here. So just like that. I'm going to put over it just to cover that square. So that will look like that. And then I'm going to stick a little piece of tape right here just to help with it sliding past. You don't have to do that. I just like it so it doesn't necessarily catch the paper when it's going in. I put my tape over a little bit, so I'm just trimming off that extra. And now I'm going to glue the door on. Then I'm going to leave this open, set it aside to dry for just a second, just because I don't want this to glue shut. I did that on my last one. It wasn't good. You can see, where is it at? I closed it when I was putting it together, so it got glued right there. So we don't want that to happen. We're going to move on to the letter here. So we won't glue this onto this yet, but this will be the top one. And what I'm going to do is take the design piece, which is the very front, and flip that over. And then I'll glue each one of these. There should be 3 additional ones. And I will glue them like this, and then glue like that. I'm going to go ahead and ink it real quick. Okay, now we are going to glue the door onto the front here. So this, you may want to dry fit it just to begin with, but it should fit right at the bottom here. So it's going to be snug to the bottom, right along the same line as this right here. So I put glue on all three, but I start at the bottom. Like that. Now for the letter, when it's wet like this, it can actually pull apart. So it's better to give it a few minutes if you guys have it, to let it dry up a little bit. Let's see if I can move forward without giving it a minute. Okay. Just be super careful if you're not going to wait, because you don't want it to, you know, with the gusset folded over, sometimes this can get stuck inside that gusset and you don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep moving forward. But like I said, if you guys have a minute, let it dry for a few minutes. So that's going to go right on top there. I'm just going to put a little ink on this note, the hidden note, right at top. Like that. So you guys can see. And now that that's attached, pull that up, and I'll leave that off to the side to dry, and we will move on. Okay, so now we are moving on to C2. C2 is this page right here. It has these little flips, as well as a hidden note. So let's get started on that. This one does have one to cut out of the center to be able to tuck the hidden note into. If you don't want to have that, you can always put, just leave it there. It will be a black line, and you can just put some fussy cuts over it and you'll never even know it's there. So let me go ahead and score these. This is where it starts getting exciting because you're getting close to the end and you can get to the decorating part. If you don't want to score this too, I just want to show you guys. You guys don't have to score these. You can always fold it in half. And I actually find this a little bit more reliable for what it will, when it folds, it will be more square in my opinion. But you can do whatever you want. I'm trying to do it without putting my head in the camera. Okay, I'm going to take a second, ink this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you're going to need, for the next part, you're going to lay out your little flaps here. You're going to go from largest to smallest, so kind of get it in order. And I usually stack those off to the side. You're going to grab your largest one and kind of determine where you want it on the paper. I would say, me personally, I like to keep it lower down because the hidden note will go inside here and then you can decorate it. Let me show you. So like that. So if you go up too high, it may hang over. So there's the original. So it kind of goes like that. So I left mine down lower. So figure out where you want it. I think I'll go about there, but this, like I said, it's optional. This is for you guys to decide. You're gonna put a tiny bit of glue up on top here. Just like that. Can't find my rag. Okay. Then you're going to go on to the second largest and just repeat. So glue on the flap. And it should be this side of the flap that has the glue. Like that. And then I butt this up to this line. Just the bottom of the other one. Make sure that it stays square. Like that. I think my fold was a tiny bit off. There we go. Perfect. And then the third largest, or second to smallest, depending on which way you want to look at it. So it should lay just like that. So you got your little flaps here. They're all even. Just like that. Now for the note portion, we are actually going to wait till we glue this page down before we put that in there and add the tab. So I'm just going to set this aside now that they're all ready. Just like that. And then we move on to the next. Okay, so this is both D1 and D2. It should be a double-sided print. It's just a single page. So let's go ahead and get it scored. So this flap that we're working on is going to glue between C1 and C2. So doesn't matter which side you pick, but it's going to go right there like that. So I'm going to start with the double pocketed side, and then I'll flip it over and do the other pocket. So we'll start with these. We're going to glue our pockets facing out, so that way it's not, when you're pulling things in and out, it's not bothered by these flips right here. Doesn't matter which order you put them in. Doesn't really matter where you put them either. Just kind of figure out where about you want them. You want to make sure you're not gluing it onto the spine portion. So I think I'm going to do mine a little different than I did this one, I believe. Yeah, so I'm just going to flip these two this time just to have another one that's just a little tiny bit different. It's going to go like that. I just realized I didn't ink, so let me ink everything and then I'll be right back to glue. Okay, everything's inked. Now let's go ahead and glue. So put a little tiny bit of glue on your edges. So I'm going to put this, I believe, on the bottom. Did I decide the bottom? I did. Okay. So I start with the back side flap. Make sure not to glue on the spine. Just like that. Flip it over. Now we're going to do this one. So this one, I put the pocket facing this way. Because when you pull it out, you can go this way with it. So once again, some glue. I like to keep this one on the far left. And then we're going to make, oops, the letter for this while this is drying. All right, so now we are to this letter. I'm going to fold this one by hand, but there is score marks. If you guys decide you guys want to do the scores, you can score this. And you can flip this whatever way you want. You can also do it this way if you want. And then fold it over this way. Completely up to you, however you want to do it. I think I'm going to keep it this way though. So I'm going to give it some ink. Okay, everything's inked. Now we're going to go ahead and get the little tabs put on this, but I do want to stop for just a second. I want to show you, this is kind of what we're doing with the tabs. And so I take a string that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the length of the actual letter, and then we will glue it onto here. I actually prefer it this way, is my preference. When I originally created it, this is what I had done. Oh, did I put it in a knot? Goodness gracious, one. Don't mind me. All right, so don't tie it in a knot, but I really like the way this looks with the little eyelet. So that is another option for you guys. And I just do 1, 2, 3, probably 4.5 times the length. And then I use this to tie it. Just like that. So for this demonstration, I will do this version. All right. So it's going to go this way. For me, you got to pick whichever way you're going to have it, because you'll put this on the outside here. So I put a couple different on here. There's some extras. You don't need them all. Someone had asked me for some more so they can make it a little higher. So I was just trying to do that for them. I'm going to take my ribbon. So we're going to go 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the person that was asking was actually going to make where this slides into a little thing here, but I feel like it would be right in the middle of your writing spot, so that's why I'm not going to do it that way. So this will be the top. This is the circle with the rose, like that. And then this will be my back side. So I'm gonna glue the ribbon. So I like to take my ribbon, I work on the side, so I turn it this way. So ribbon, I turn it this way, then flip it. And then this will glue just like that. I hope you guys can see that. Let me zoom in real quick. So just like that. Okay. Now when you glue this, you can glue the entire thing here, because we are also going to put this on top. So I'm gonna let this dry for a minute before I actually wrap this around and make sure my string is straight. Okay. And this will be the one that's going into here like that. Okay, on to the next. Okay, so now we are going to start working on gluing our pieces together, or I don't know, maybe panels. We're going to start with A1, A2. So that's going to be this piece right here and this piece right here. So I have those, and it's going to glue just like this, like that. So I'm going to take, this is where I'm going to use the fabric tack. You take your other piece, just sit it on top. Make sure everything is lined up. And I like to make sure I fold my pieces back and forth, my moving pieces, just like that. Then we're going to actually jump over, we're going to skip these two pieces because they will glue, it will glue on it like this and on this one on this side. So we're going to skip over B and we're going to move over to C and D. So you're going to need C1 and 2 and D1 and 2, C1, C2, D1 and 2. So this is going to go be like this, and then this will be like this. So that's what we're working with here. So I take my C2 and then my D1 and 2, and we're going to glue it so it folds just like this, like that. So we will take, so you're going to take your back, you should have your envelope, because this is how it goes. Am I backwards? No. I had to take a double take. I thought I confused myself here for a second. So it's gonna go like, hold on here. It's gonna go like this. I'm confusing myself. So it's gonna go like this. So you're gonna flip this over. Yeah, just like that. So you're going to take some glue and put it on. So you don't want to, of course, put it on the spine. You want it just on the gusset. You're going to line it up with the bottom. Oh, I just bumped my head on the camera. I hope I didn't bounce you guys around. Make sure it folds okay. So now you have just like that. Now we're going to need our letter, because what we're going to do, just make sure everything lines up right. Okay. We're going to slide this in here because we're going to use it as our marker of where we are going to glue. So you don't want the glue too close to this letter, because if you do, it's not going to allow the letter to come in and out. And then this will go over this like this. Just like that. Yeah. So I'm going to use my fabric tack up here and along here, and then I'm going to use my more precise, my art glitter glue right along the edges and at the bottom. I'm actually going to start with my fabric tack because it stays wetter longer. I feel like I have a little bit more time to work with this. So I'm going to put the fabric tack up on the top here. And then on the spine and the gusset. Now, if you're not using fabric tack, you can use your other glue for this as well. Then I'm just going to follow the edge, keeping it close to the fold marks. I'm going to take my letter out, and hopefully you guys can see where I glued. Then you're going to take your other piece here, line it up. And I like to fold my seams while it's still wet, just to work with the, I'm not sure what it does exactly, I'll be honest with you, but it allows, I don't know how to explain what it does is what I should say, but it allows me to, I feel like it folds better when I do it that way. So. I got my lining off a little bit. Just like that. I must, you know how when you cut your lines they're not perfect, but you can go through and trim that off too. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and put my letter in because we are going to put the lifts on there. And after you do this a few times, it's much easier to come in and out. The first couple times are a little bit harder. You can also, once it dries, you can take your bone folder in there. But let me just show you. Once you do it a few times, it allows for easier movement. So out and just like that. Okay. So we're gonna glue our lifts on there. Figure out where you want your letter to stop. I got 2 lifts. We're gonna glue white side to the white side. Just like that. This one can be trimmed too if it's a little long, which I think I'm going to trim mine just a smidgen. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on the letter. Center my lift. Then I'm actually going to take it completely out while it's drying, just because I've had bad experiences with glue getting on things that I don't want it to get on. So we're going to leave that out. Now, if you want ribbon, now is the time to pull that out. I'm going to use, I think I've decided on this right here. So this is the completed one. I think I'm just going to do it full size, so I'll tell you how big it is. Let me just... Alright, so I went with 12, 24, 29 total. 29 inches is what I used. So now we are going to take this top piece. So this is the part with the belly band. And we are going to glue this piece to this and this piece to this right here. So it'll be just like that. So I'm going to take my glue. I've been trying to remember not to leave the cap off. I'm horrible at leaving the cap off when I'm trying to just keep like continuing to go while I'm doing the video. And I know it's not good for my glue. I've already lost one of my glue containers that I had forever. It lasted me for so long, and then I leave it uncapped and bam, it's no good no more. So we're going to take, so I just put glue on that gusset that's on the A side, and then we're going to the B side. Like I said, this is not glued to anything. It's got the white back, and we are just going to make sure everything lines up at the bottom and on the side. So make sure it folds over okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we'll go just like that. I'm going to fold this before I glue it because it makes it a little easier. So glue on just the gusset. All right. So now we're going to go on to the back. I'm going to take my lace or my ribbon, kind of figure out where the half is. And I'm going to lay it there. Come on, Yana. There we go. So I'm going to go up a little higher. I want it like right around there. So now I'm going to take the fabric tack and we are going to glue the back. So this is B1. And it's going to go like that. And I'm going to use just fabric tack on this part. Make sure not to get the spines, just the gussets. I'm going to make sure that it's laying flat because I don't want it to bubble up the back. I'm going to put fabric tack over my ribbon. And once this dries a little bit more, I'll be able to fold this a little bit better, just to work on my fold lines. So that may have made too big of a ribbon. I think this is just a tiny bit big, but it's okay. Still love it. All right, so now is the fun part where you get to decorate. You can put your stuff inside there. When it's wet like this, I feel like it makes it a little stickier when you slide this too. So put like that. You got your accordion folio. And then now for the decoration. There's all kinds of little pieces for you guys to put in there. And then for decorating, you got all kinds of little pieces. You got some words, so you can label your little flip-flops. And you can use these if you want to. I put these in here to be able to go over those if you want, or you can decorate it. So yeah, so have fun with that. I'm just barely starting a Facebook group because I want to be able to see what you guys create. I think you guys just have some amazing ideas. You guys are so talented. So once I get that up and running correctly, because I'm still trying, I don't really do Facebook really, so I'm still trying to figure it out. But as soon as I get it all figured out, I will let you guys know so you guys can share your creations and what you make. So I hope you guys had a fantastic day. I hope this tutorial was good. Any questions, concerns, comments, whatever the case may be, let me know down in the comments. I try to read every single one. I try my best to respond to them as well. And yeah, you guys take care. Thank you so much. Bye.